I just want to welcome Leah Skeeto and Terry Heflin from Lockheed Martin to our Local Heroes series that we've been posting for about a year now, talking to different individuals in our community who have gone above and beyond the call of duty during this COVID pandemic. And we've dealt with organizations and people and, all sorts of folks. And I wanted to visit with Leah and with Terry today because they and Lockheed have done a whole bunch of things to really keep their business going, to keep their staff safe, to keep America strong during this time that none of us had ever expected to see. This pandemic that's lasted a good year now, and we're starting to see the end. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we still got work to do. So I just like to have Leah introduce herself, and Terry, you introduce yourself, and then we'll start doing some questions and answers. So Leah.
Yeah, great, thanks. Yeah, so my name is Leah Skeeto, and I have been with Lockheed Martin for about 7 years now, and have transitioned, like a lot of people, to full-time COVID-19 response over the last 12 months. About this time last year, I moved out of my prototypical HR business partner job and into an HR, what we call an HR continuity lead job in partnership with Terry on our business side to make sure that we were responding efficiently and effectively and quickly to COVID-19.
Thank you. Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry Heflin, and I've been with Lockheed Martin for a little over 15 years. My traditional role was in the finance and project management field before this pandemic hit us a year ago, and Leah and I were asked to lead a task force team.
So in Colorado, and particularly here in the Denver metro area, Lockheed has a huge presence. I was kidding around. One of the things that I've been working on the science committee is getting our astronauts to Mars by 2033. But Lockheed is a really big part of our community. Thousands of people employed by Lockheed working on a whole variety of matters, civilian and military and all sorts of things. So, how, as we came into this COVID moment, were you able to keep transacting business and keeping your staff safe? So Terry, I'll start with you.
So you're correct. I'll give you a little background for the folks that don't know. Our space division is headquartered here in Colorado, and we're tucked away into the really pretty Waterton Canyon area. We build satellites and spacecraft for government and commercial customers. And you're talking about Mars, so you may have recently seen our Perseverance Mars rover landing in February, where we sent a rover and a helicopter to Mars, where we partnered with NASA for that program. So it's pretty cool stuff. And our space business here in Colorado employs about 10,000 people. So we do have a big presence here in Jefferson County. So last year, Leah and I were asked to lead a task force team to help ensure the safety of all of those employees and enable the business operations to continue and deliver on those critical missions throughout this pandemic. So it's been a crazy ask, but an exciting challenge. And our bosses always tell us if we can send things to Mars, we can get through this pandemic. So we work pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to maintain operations and the safety of our employees, and in consideration with our community as well. So we addressed many things at the beginning, including sending out like 20,000 masks to our employees, because remember in the beginning, it was difficult to get your hands on things. So we were enabling that. And then at the same time, we were trying to quickly transition folks to work virtually. which was a huge task or ask of our IT folks. And you can imagine everyone's trying to log in now virtually. So they quickly had to address thousands of employees doing this. And then we also have to, because we do build things, enable our essential workers. So those that have to be, they have to be on site through this entire pandemic. They've been coming in, so we had to figure out how to make them feel safe doing that. So our facilities teams, they have enabled these workers to feel safe through rigorous cleaning schedules. We have hand sanitizer stations everywhere, signage in every doorway, to just reminders of safety protocols. And then we had to do some workspace modifications as well. So, and in addition to it just establishing all those protocols, we developed a really robust communications plan to provide all these guidelines to the employees. So you have to let them know what's going on. And I'll tell you, they look to us, Lockheed Martin, to enable them at home and enable them at work. So we developed what we call a COVID playbook, which was a really cool idea, and it's still evolving over the entire year that we've been going through this. We keep adding topics. So it's a one-stop shop for employees to, and their leaders, to get answers to just about everything. So, you know, can I travel? What do I do if I travel? Where do I go for this? You know, do I have to wear a mask when I'm in the car? Just how do I get to testing, to COVID testing? And so on that topic, you may be familiar with COVID Check Colorado. So we partnered with them to enable on-site testing for our employees and their families, because that was also very difficult to get to at the beginning of this pandemic.
Right.
So we set up an on-site testing clinic where here at the Waterton site, we have conducted over 6,000 tests. So people could go, you didn't have to be symptomatic. You could just go if you were just wondering, just to give you that peace of mind, and also consistent with the safety of, you know, can I go to work, or, you know, can my child go to school? What do we do? So we have that set up. And then most recently, moving from testing to vaccinations now, we worked with Jefferson County, who we work closely with, just really enjoyed working with that team. And we toured the Arvada fire station where they had a vaccine clinic. So that was really eye-opening, and kind of that was in the beginning of the vaccinations being distributed, and it was something to see. I have to say, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. But just touring that, we decided to establish our own clinic, and Jefferson County helped us out with that. So we have a vaccine clinic here. We call it the ball fields, right outside of our Waterton site. And we have achieved to date 6 clinics and over 2,000 shots in arms. So pretty cool stuff. I'll be there tomorrow, so we'll be doing 300 more shots tomorrow.
Well, let me
as
ask,
a result of all,
let me ask Leah, from a company-wide standpoint, how have you been able to manage this? Because you guys have plants all over the place.
Yeah, that's a great question. We, you know, it's interesting the way that our business is set up. We are always one company, one team, but we are definitely very insulated in some areas with the respective business that we do. As Terry mentioned, we're in the space business area. We're headquartered in Colorado. And so we've got a laser focus on what we do as a business area. And what COVID-19 was able to do for us is bring us together in no bigger way than the one company, one team strategy. And so our executives like to say that the mission never sleeps, and it's right? Whether you work for our missiles and fire control business area, or you're working in space on satellites, you know, the important thing for us is supporting the mission and the nation's defense. So early on, we found that the nature and the way in which we do business had to come together and really support the overall infrastructure for our employees. It was new, it was unfamiliar, it was uncomfortable, and yet because the mission never sleeps, we knew that we had to stay focused on mission and people at the same time, and they were coming together like we'd never seen, right?
So let me stop you for a second. Let's talk about one of the missions, which was getting Perseverance rover on the surface of Mars. So how in this pandemic were you guys able to manage doing that, which was so exciting? I got goosebumps just talking about it right now. So I don't care whoever wants to go first. How were you able to do that?
Yeah, it's I'll start it out and then I'll lean on Terry. What is amazing about our workforce is they are going to do whatever it takes to achieve the mission. And so early on in the pandemic, what we said is whether we were in a virtual environment or we were all sitting together at consoles or in mission rooms or on the test floor or whatever, our employees knew what they had to do to make that mission successful. And so we came up with strategies in partnership with our customers to literally take all of the infrastructure that we knew we had and immediately shift it into a virtual environment anywhere that we could. And instead of balking at that and saying, no, we've always done things this way, we can't, our employees stepped up to say, well, let me take our processes and procedures and all of the things that we do to keep, again, our mission safe and secure. And literally, it felt like overnight. It wasn't. It was long and arduous and painful, but it felt like overnight they were able to take out all of our infrastructure and shift it into a virtual environment so that our employees could stay safe and the mission could still stay on track.
So, Terry, we were talking about the Perseverance mission and the ability of your staff, your team to, keep their eye on the ball and really, have a fantastic landing and, watch the parachute and, all the landings. So how at the plant in Waterton were you all able to make sure the launch went well and the trip to Mars went well and then the landing went well in COVID?
Yeah, I think as Leah alluded to, just being able to, our employees are focused on the mission. So if we could just keep their focus on the mission, and what our team did was to enable them to do that, to feel safe at work with safety protocols, to know what to do in case someone is exposed to COVID, talking with the employees and just reassuring them and letting them know, hey, we've got your back, and some of your team may be virtual, but here's how to communicate virtually. So a lot of communication and a lot of reassuring that we're here for you and we're gonna get through this.
Well,
and really taking a lot of lead. The one thing I was going to say, we obviously for that particular mission, we took the lead from NASA, right? And so our customers have been just instrumental in our ability to even maintain the structure and the protocol that we have. That drive from our customers to ensure that mission success was really important for us.
Well, the good news for you two and for your company is you do have a lot of rocket scientists and engineers to help design some new protocols and new approaches to things to get the mission accomplished. And, I'll tell you, I had an interview. I'm the chairman of the banking committee, it's Consumer Protection and Financial Institutions. And I was having an interview with the Wall Street Journal 5 minutes after the Perseverance was set onto the surface of Mars. And all I could do was talk about the Perseverance during this interview where I was supposed to be talking about financial services. So to just us here in Colorado and across the country, the ability of NASA to keep its eye on the ball, the ability of Lockheed Martin to accomplish its task was so exciting that I can tell you, you are all heroes in my book. And you are heroes because you were able to keep going, even in a very difficult moment in American history, being this pandemic. So I'm going to I'll let Terry, you go first, and then we'll have Leah close, and we'll finish this up. But I just am so proud to have Lockheed Martin and you two participate in our Local Heroes series.
Thank you so much. Thank you for focusing in on all we do. And it really is nice after a year of a lot of work, and we're continuing to follow all of our protocols. We really appreciate talking to you. And we are proud of what we've been able to accomplish through this pandemic. It's been amazing how we've come together as a business area and as Lockheed Martin whole, you know, thinking of 110,000 employees all on the same page, all following the same protocol across the board, and really being able to reach out to them. So we appreciate your support as well.
Well, thank you very much. Leah.
Yeah, I totally resonate with Terry's closing remarks. I think, you know, our relationship with the state of Colorado and with your office and everything that we do to support, again, Lockheed Martin and the nation's defense in partnership with the state and local government officials has been what's kept us going. You know, we can come up with a lot of creative strategies, certainly, in response to the pandemic, and they're not always going to be right. They're certainly not easy, and definitely not always well received, right? But we know that as long as we have this partnership with our constituents and with the state, and certainly as a business area and enterprise in the state of Colorado, that's what keeps us going and makes sure that we're here to support our employees and the work that we do.